What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, two-time heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, he had this to say.
I could have a fair trilogy with Wilder yet.
Y'all heard it. He says that the arbitration could rule that he has a fair trilogy with Deontay Wilder in his next fight. So he's saying that in his next fight, it might not be fellow countryman, two-time unified British heavyweight world champion superstar boxer Anthony Joshua. It indeed could be former Olympic bronze medalist, former WBC heavyweight American world champion superstar boxer Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, if indeed the arbitration rules in Deontay Wilder's favor, because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. And he says they may rule that I have a fair trilogy. You heard it. A fair trilogy match with Deontay Wilder. So what was the second fight? Was that not fair? So now we already know Tyson Fury. He stated that who knows what could happen. He could be facing Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match, right? That's what he stated. And he stated his frustration with not being able to get a fight done and a deal done with fellow countryman Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury, in that interview, he stated that if he didn't have a boatload of money, if he didn't have, a contract and a date signed, there was no fight. And he said there's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't know about. And the arbitration could rule that Deontay Wilder get a trilogy match. But get this, highlight a fair trilogy match. So like I said, was the second fight not fair? There's an asterisk by the second fight because Deontay Wilder, he claims that, Tyson Fury, he may have a foreign object in his glove, allegedly, okay? In his first fight, we could see Tyson Fury with a flappy left glove, okay? In the second fight, you can see his glove look like it has little to zero padding in the knuckle area, okay? And so Tyson Fury, once again, just listen to what he had to say.
Geneva, he could be fighting me next, who knows? I could have a fair trilogy with Wilder yet.
A fair trilogy with Wilder yet. So he's saying he could have a fair trilogy with Deontay Wilder yet. What is a fair trilogy is what I'm asking. Again, like I said, we saw the glove have little to no padding in the knuckle area. And a lot of people, they want to dismiss the claims by Deontay Wilder. They want to pretend that they don't see what their eyes see or act like they don't see what their eyes see. And Tyson Fury gloves look abnormal, okay? Deontay Wilder has fair claims. We know even sparring partner Nicholas Asbury, he stated that Tyson Fury had removed padding allegedly in the sparring session, okay, out of his gloves. Okay, so with that said, now Tyson Fury is saying that if arbitration rules in Deontay Wilder's favor, he has to have a fair trilogy with Deontay Wilder. I'll let you hear it again from Tyson Fury's own mouth.
But, Wilder don't write Wilder off on the occasion either. He could be fighting me next, who knows? I could have a fair trilogy with Wilder yet.
A fair trilogy with Wilder yet. Okay, I'm confused. What is a fair trilogy? It would just be a trilogy match. Why would it be a fair trilogy when Deontay Wilder and his claims are being dismissed? We know that Tyson Fury, you go back in his history, the Steve Cunningham fight. We know the situation with Martin Carefoot, the farmer, who stated that he never provided Tyson Fury with wild boar meat after Tyson Fury fight with Vladimir Klitschko, and he tested positive. He and his cousin Huey Fury and UCAD, United Kingdom Anti-Doping Agency, was launching a fresh investigation into that entire equation and situation. And now you have a case where Deontay Wilder in the rematch just didn't seem to be himself. He felt like Tyson Fury had an unfair advantage in the fight. And you can see, you look at the pictures of Tyson Fury, his gloves, and it's clear as day that his gloves look, dare I say, tampered with. Okay. So, now he's saying that, that they would have to have a fair trilogy match. What is a fair trilogy match is what I'm confused by. Wouldn't it just be a trilogy match? Why would it be a fair trilogy match? So that's what I'm ultimately confused of. Why is he saying that he will have to have a fair trilogy match with Deontay Wilder? Deontay Wilder is seeking a trilogy match with Tyson Fury, as he's contractually obligated to give Deontay Wilder a trilogy match. He got a 7th round stoppage over Deontay Wilder last February in their highly anticipated rematch. First fight ended in a draw. Second fight ended in Tyson Fury getting a stoppage victory over Deontay Wilder. And Deontay Wilder, he's looking for the trilogy match that he's so owed, okay? And Tyson Fury, he wants to dismiss Deontay Wilder. He wants to go into this fight, undisputed showdown with fellow countryman Anthony Joshua. And it seems like the boxing public is also on board with that. They want Tyson Fury to go into this fight with Anthony Joshua for undisputed. There's never been a true undisputed British heavyweight world champion, especially not on UK soil. So this is what they're pushing for. You even had ESPN's colorful analyst Max Kellerman. He come out and he stated that, Deontay Wilder is taking $5 to $10 million in step aside money to not have to allow Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight to come to fruition. You also have, the UK. They're stating that Deontay Wilder never won the trilogy. He's just looking to garner as much money possible in step aside money. But you had Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury, he came out and he stated, Tyson Fury and Frank Warren, they said that Deontay Wilder, he missed the October 15th deadline. And because he missed the October 15th deadline, they were well in their rights to move on, to push forward, okay? So if that was the case, indeed, then why would they be paying Deontay Wilder step aside money? For what? What would be the reason to pay Deontay Wilder step aside money if indeed he wasn't owed anything and they were well in their rights to move on and proceed forward without having to fight Deontay Wilder in the trilogy match? Okay, so if that was the case, then why are they looking to pay Deontay Wilder big step aside money? And again, Tyson Fury, he's saying he may have to give Deontay Wilder the trilogy match because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Well, I'm confused. If you don't have to give Deontay Wilder the trilogy match because you are well in your rights to move on from Deontay Wilder fight, and he missed the deadline, meaning that he was, neglected, the timeline, the deadline to inform them that he wanted the trilogy match. As they stated, he missed the timeline to inform them that he wanted the trilogy match. Thus the reason that allowed them to move on and not have to face off against Deontay Wilder in the trilogy match. Now, if you just look at these pictures right here, you can see the circle. You can see the imprint in Tyson Fury's glove, the right glove, on both gloves. You can clearly see right there, the imprint from that. And, it clearly lets you know that it was definitely something going on, okay? Something was fishy in the fight. Look at the glove. This is Tyson Fury's glove in the second fight, okay? And he got the stoppage victory over Deontay Wilder. Now he's trying to, maneuver around the trilogy match, and he wants to press forward with the undisputed match with his fellow countryman Anthony Joshua. So that's the agenda ultimately, to get Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Now in arbitration, maybe they rule in Deontay Wilder's favor, and then maybe Tyson Fury does not have, maybe he's stripped of the WBC sanction body. And thus, Anthony Joshua will not accept to face Tyson Fury if it's not for undisputed. As Anthony Joshua, he already stated that it's about the belt and his legacy. It's not about the fighter himself. It's about his legacy and fighting for the belt. So with that said, there's still a huge hurdle in Deontay Wilder. As Tyson Fury, you heard him state, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that may see him have to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match. Also, they don't have a site, right? They're struggling to find a site. They're struggling to find a place where they could stage the fight of this magnitude without fans in attendance. Possibly still may not have no fans in attendance, which means you're looking to stage a fight that's a $200 million fight, according to both teams. It's a $200 million fight, and they don't have any fans in attendance, or the investment group is not getting a return on their investment, that's not going to work. So it's Eddie Hearn says that Matchroom CEO and promoter of Anthony Joshua, he stated that indeed that they will have there's investment groups that want them to push the fight back to November. Tyson Furys is not happy with the fact that he's been inactive. Last time he fought was against Deontay Wilder. That was in February. So, at this point in time, Tyson Furys is saying that it's possibly he could face Deontay Wilder if arbitration rules in his favor in a fair trilogy. You heard it there. Yesterday, Eddie Hearn, he stated that there was a mysterious Asian investment group that came forward, a billionaire that offered to put up $200+ million, have the fight stage in Asia, but won't have, not worrying about a return on their investment. We got to see how realistic that is. But Eddie Hearn, he stated that if they indeed ask them to push it back to November, that's not a go. That's not an option. They want the fight to happen ASAP. That's the reason why Tyson Furys is saying if they do indeed push it back, then he's going to look to fight Deontay Wilder in the trilogy, and maybe he's forced to fight Deontay Wilder anyway in what he calls a quote-unquote fair trilogy. But make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hit, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notification. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all in word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.